Hello and welcome along to the FootballMartin podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in. It's your weekend preview here on the channel. I'm with Dad. We're having a coffee. As usual on a Friday, we've come to a local cafe called Wadham's in Newport High Street on the Isle of Wight. We're going to sit down, we're going to have a coffee and we're going to chat over the weekend's football. We're going to look ahead to our game tomorrow, Southampton's game against Brighton and Hove Albion. But before we do get in today's show, a huge shout out to my amazing Patreon community and all my latest YouTube members. Your support is a massive help to the channel, so a massive thank you to every single one of you for supporting the channel. Right, let's get into this weekend's preview. Right, let's get started. Dad is here. We're having our morning coffee. Great to see you, mate.
Yeah, you too, mate. You too.
A different cafe today. We got a few people on the show last week are actually locals, and they said to me, "Oh, you need to go to a local cafe." So we've come to Wadham's today. It's actually really nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really nice. Lovely coffee, lovely setting, brilliant staff. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, next step is to get you a microphone so I don't have to keep doing this. It's quite nice to do this on a Friday. The show went down well last week, so I just thought I'd do it again. I've done a pre-match preview with Ryan from Toolkit Seagulls. Make sure you go check that out on the channel. I will link it in the show notes below, but do go check it out. Right, let's start with Southampton. That inevitable plunge towards relegation accelerated last weekend with that defeat to Bournemouth. Boss Ivan Juric confessed his side are missing a little bit of everything.
It's a bit of an understatement, really, isn't it? I mean, I thought the first half last week was really depressing, really upsetting. There was no fight, there was no effort, and his team selection was awful, and it was quite depressing. I mean, they picked up a bit in the second half, but really that was because Bournemouth took their foot off the pedal a little bit. But
they did take their foot off the gas.
But to say they missed it a little bit, it's utterly clueless. You know, stop taking us for fools, mate.
Yeah, there's I've got all the stats in this show as well. So not only am I going to talk to my dad, I'm going to bring you some stats around Saints and Brighton and Hove Albion. We're going to have a little look ahead to the game. I'm going to pull out a few bits you probably won't want to hear, but here we go anyway. Southampton have lost 7 consecutive Premier League matches, conceded 3+ goals in each of those games. That is just brutal. There are only 3 teams in Premier League history to have ever lost 8 consecutive home matches, and Southampton are staring at that fate this weekend if they don't turn things around. Can they beat Brighton this weekend?
Probably not, no. I mean, I'm numb to it now, but I just can't see. I can't see where the next point's coming from. Really, it's just the shamble unfolds a little bit more every week, doesn't it?
Yeah, even Juric had his press conference yesterday. He spoke that Flynn Downs is back in training. He was with the under-21s, but he's back in training. I said in a video yesterday that I did across some of my platforms, I've not put it out on YouTube yet, but I said I felt that there was no winners in that situation. The fact he brought it into the public domain, there was no need for it, was there?
No, none at all. No. You know, the situation that they're in at the moment and the quality within the squad and the depth of the squad, then every player that can be available should be available.
£18 million signing in the summer from West Ham United.
Yeah, £18 million. You know, we spend money on players and we just don't get anywhere, do we? Yeah, it's just an absolute joke, really. But he won't play tomorrow, obviously. But
do you think you get a rough reception from the fans? I was kind of like, I've seen a few comments. I did a TikTok video yesterday, and they'd be, oh, he'd be getting boos. I'll be booing him, people were saying. Yeah. This doesn't help anyone, does it, in this situation when it's toxic already?
Yeah, but you know, we come back to it. There's lots of rumours about the down situation, and it was 6 of one, half dozen the other. It's obvious. You know, if it's true what people are saying, that he was told that he would be able to go out on loan, and then the club backtracked on that, then he's got grounds to be fed up, but then he should have rolled his shirt sleeves up and got on with it. So faults on both sides.
Yeah, and for him, I said yesterday in the video, I just feel he'd be looking at it, and if he's got any sense, he'd be thinking to himself, do you know what? This manager probably won't be here in the summer, into next season. I'm not going to get a Premier League move. Ipswich are probably going to get relegated with Southampton. Get my head down. Who's going to come and pay £18 million? Because Southampton, they're hard to deal with. We know what Rasmus Ankerson's like. We know what they're like to do business with. They're not going to let him go on the cheap, are they?
No, of course they're not. No, he is going to have to just bide his time. I mean, I honestly can't see the manager being here next season, but who knows?
It kind of feels like Ruben Sellers, doesn't it? I spoke to a friend of mine a couple of days ago. I'm sure he won't mind me dropping his name in. Glenn did a call. We were messaging each other the other day, and we were kind of saying there's that feeling of. I will get Glenn back on the channel, by the way. You kind of get that feeling that like the Ruben Sellers, that he's kind of there. It's like that stopgap.
Yeah, I mean, despite what they say, I think he is. And I'm not convinced that he is the right man to take the club forward. I mean, he's got no experience of Championship football, which is like nothing on earth,
It's different gravy, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. And at the end of the day, they only brought him in because they couldn't get anybody else, because they left it so late, sacking Russell. And they've ended up with him, and his style of football doesn't...
I don't like the freedom back.
No, and it doesn't... The squad is poor as it is, and they can't adapt to it, especially this stage of the season. And no, the way he sets up is awful.
The team news ahead of tomorrow is obviously Downs is back in the squad. He won't start, obviously, but he'll be in the squad. Jack Stevens reckons he's available, but he's not going to risk him. But he'd be in the squad by the looks of it if he wants him. He also said that Adam Lallana, who did play for Brighton and Hove Albion just before he came to Southampton, he had a good time there as well. They speak really highly of him. He's going to miss this one as well. He's out injured. Yeah. Can't remember who else he said was injured yesterday. Definitely Lallana. Oh, and Taylor Harwood-Bellis is going to miss it as well. Right. Brighton, we need to talk about Brighton a bit. Obviously, we watch a lot of Brighton on TV in the Premier League. Funny enough, Ian Buckman emailed me today. I emailed a friend of ours that used to live here on the Isle of Wight. He's the academy director, actually, at Brighton and Hove Albion. I emailed him yesterday to see if he was up for the game tomorrow. He's not coming, but he did invite me down if I wanted to go down. So hopefully I'll organise that and go down to Brighton. He's the academy director. Done a really good job. Let's talk about Brighton. Made some great points about the manager, without any doubt. Brighton, they've bounced back an embarrassing 7-0 defeat against Nottingham Forest a few weeks ago. 2 back-to-back wins against Chelsea in the FA Cup, and then in the Premier League with that 3-0 victory on Valentine's Day. Matoma with that goal. Did you watch that game?
Yeah, I watched it. I saw the goal. What a touch. Unbelievable. You know, they've had a bit of an in-and-out season, Brighton. They've kind of... I think Bournemouth have leapfrogged them. They've gone ahead of them. They've had a change of manager, and it's not quite gone as well as they...
They're that enamoured with him, actually.
No, I don't think... From what I've read and seen, the fans aren't really. I think he's young and he's a bit cocky, maybe. But
I'm not a massive fan, I'll be honest.
I think Brighton are on a bit of a turn, really. If they lose players in the summer, as inevitably they will, then they're going to find life difficult.
All comes down to good recruitment. Keep doing what they're doing with the recruitment. Keep bringing players through.
Yeah. I mean, coming back to Ian Buckman, he has done a phenomenal job. The way their academy is set up. The biggest criticism I've got of our academy is that they always said it was a
pathway to the first team.
Pathway to the first team. Yeah.
Is it though?
No, it's a pathway to being loaned out to some lower league club and disappearing into oblivion. There's so many missed chances with this club. And I mean, I'm not a fan of the loan system anyway. There's very few players that go away and come back better, in my opinion.
Chris Newham said on the channel about reserve football a while ago. They don't have that reserve football anymore, do they?
No, they don't. I mean, the older viewers remember the football combination. I've been to reserve games at the Dell, and they would have seasoned pros that couldn't get in the first team, and they'd all be getting a game. Whereas now it's just very fragmented. There's a lot of players in the squad that aren't getting regular football, which seems ridiculous.
Yeah, there's not regular football anymore. Continue with the Brighton chat. Historically, this trip across the south coast for Brighton and Hove Albion, they've never lost at St Mary's. Get this, in the Premier League, they've won 2, drawn 4. They'll be keen to keep that record intact tomorrow. With Southampton having the leakiest defence in the Premier League, Brighton's forwards must be licking their lips. Oh yeah, you could see it unfolding again, can't you? They're quick and they press, just like Bournemouth, really. The one thing that stood out to me above everything else last week was we were just so much slower and so much slower to react than Bournemouth. They bossed us, they attacked us at the intensity. Quick, punchy,
and I guess we're lacking confidence. There's no confidence in the side whatsoever. And the minute they go a goal down, then the heads drop. I mean, I think we were fortunate. It wasn't more than 3 we conceded last Saturday.
Yeah, they will be good, Brighton. Matoma looks really, really good. Go check out that pre-match preview with Ryan here on the channel. He'll give you a little bit more of an insight from his perspective as a Brighton fan. But we speak about Matoma. He scored that goal against Chelsea. World-class goal. Probably end up being goal of the season. He's had 5 direct goal involvements in his last 6 Premier League games, 4 goals, 1 assist, which is as many as he managed in the previous 28 matches. He's definitely one to keep an eye on, that is for sure. Let's talk about Kamaldeen Sulemana. For Southampton, he netted his first Premier League goal against Bournemouth for the season last weekend. Interestingly, that was his 5th successive goal that's arrived on home soil, according to Flash Score. Is he the best hope to find goals at the moment, Kamaldeen?
Yeah, yes, possibly, yeah. But, that's not saying much, really, is it? I just think the amount of money they spent on him, he's another player that they've never got the best out of him. I mean, you could make a list as long as your arm of players that we just don't make the most of. And he's one of them. I mean, I think he lacks confidence. There's no question about it. He's frightened to take players on. He turns back on himself. But yeah, he's about the best chance because I can't see anybody else scoring.
I like to see Cameron Archer start tomorrow. Personally, I wasn't impressed with Onuachu last week. I didn't think he offered nothing. I like to see Cameron come in. I like to see him freshen up tomorrow. Be interested to see what happens with the predicted team lineups. Get them in the comments box below. I know what my team would be tomorrow, and it wouldn't involve a back 3, that is for sure. Right, finishing up on statistics. So I said to you there were statistics that are going to be in today's pod. Here is a stat that sums up Southampton's season ahead of this round of Prem fixtures. Tottenham 21 have dropped more points from winning positions than Southampton's 20. That is heartbreaking for Saints fans. Prediction for this one?
I think we lose 3-1. Sorry.
3-1. He's going to go with a repeat of last weekend. We're going matchday vlog. Will be on the FootballMartin channel tomorrow. Instant reaction within sort of 30 minutes of the game finishing here on YouTube. I'll also put that across my other platforms as well. Right, as we're wrapping up today's show, other weekend fixtures, a couple of games to look out for. I'm not going to go through every Premier League game. Everton, Man United, huge game for both teams. Everton had a proper new manager bounce, haven't they, under David Moyes. Yeah. It looks like they're definitely going to survive. But Man United, no consistency there whatsoever.
No, not at all. Not at all. No, David Moyes has done wonderful, really. We certainly didn't have a new manager bounce, did we, really?
No.
More like a new manager thud. But United have got problems. I don't really blame the manager. I think the whole setup there is toxic.
They're going to have to stick with Almiron, aren't they? Just give them a bit of time.
They are. But, they've got a big squad. They spent a lot of money. And they all moan and whinge, these bigger clubs. But they've got to stick with him. But it happens with so many clubs. They have Ferguson for so long. And after he goes, there's this void left. And again, the older viewers remember Leeds in the 70s when Don Revie went and Brian Clough went for a while. And they went through years of struggling. So it's not a new phenomenon. But coming back to Moyes, wouldn't it have been good if we could have got hold of him? If we'd have tried to get him when we were 4 points adrift, he could have probably got something out of this squad, as bad as they are.
Yeah, just needed a manager with a bit of Premier League nous, really, and a couple of additions in January. You never know what could have been. It's a busy week for Saints. Brighton, obviously, tomorrow, Saturday, then it's Chelsea on Tuesday, and then it's a weekend off next weekend. Elsewhere in the Premier League this weekend, Arsenal, West Ham, London derby. Arsenal looking to keep their Premier League title chances alive. Going to keep an eye on that one. Man City, Liverpool is a standout fixture of the weekend. Potential title decider. I already feel that Liverpool have got the league. Watched Man City in midweek against Madrid. Didn't look great, did they, at all? Madrid were brilliant, and Mbappe was class.
Oh, different class, yeah. I think Liverpool are going to win it without a doubt. They have been the best side over the season. Fair play to the manager. He's come in and he has sort of done the thing that we were talking about, struggling after a manager's been in a club a long time, and he's done really, really well. So fair play to him. I don't really want to look at that end of the table, really.
No, it is depressing when you see the points tallies being picked up. New Premier League ball in action tomorrow at St Mary's. Look out for that one. New Nike ball. Absolutely love that. We obviously both worked in our past lives in our early lives. Dad had a sports shop. I worked with him for many years. 98, I think I started working for him. We sold football kits. Touch upon Nike, Premier League ball. Total note, they brought it back.
Yeah, they have.
Best thing I've done for a while, really.
Yeah, it is. I've never been a big fan of Nike footballs, really. But yeah, it looks good. It looks good.
I'm going to Sports Direct in a minute to try and find one, actually.
What about that? But I sort of remember the old brand, Mitre and Minerva footballs there.
Mitre Ultimax went at the Premier League.
Oh yeah, that was a great ball. Minerva Supreme. But it's going to be Puma next season, so that'll be interesting. But ultimately, it's all about money, isn't it?
Yeah, it was all about money. That brings us to the end of the podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Catch up with Daddy in a match day vlog tomorrow. Before I go, a couple of exciting bits coming up on the channel. I can put this out there because it's all set. I've got some really good podcasts coming up. I just need to get these set in stone when I'm going to do them. We have Martin Tyler, who was the Sky Sports Super Sunday commentator, coming on the FootballMartin podcast within the next 6 weeks. David Protton's agreed. James Beattie's agreed as well. So 3 top guests. Really excited for Martin Tyler. Dad's going to come to that one with me as well. I'm going to try and film it in person because I think filming stuff in person is so much better than doing it over Zoom and tinny AirPods. Right, that wraps up today's podcast. Before we go, I want to give a massive shout out to some incredible people who support this channel. Anthony Dawson, thank you very much for joining my YouTube members. Tetanator, Ben Carroll, David Bunny, Stuart Athead and Luke Maximum over on Patreon. Your support means the absolute world to me. Cheers to everyone for tuning in. Have a great weekend. We're going to go enjoy our coffee here in Wadhams. And if you're in Newport on the Isle of Wight, make sure you come and check it out. Top stuff. I'll see you again tomorrow in the Matchday vlog.